The wealthy are wealthy for a reason because they followed a path that's not common. They're doing what the masses aren't doing. And this is one of those rules. This is one of those laws of wealth. And if you just simply do what the wealthy are doing, you yourself would be wealthy, but it always takes one. It takes generation one. It takes someone to break the chain.
If you choose path A, you will have $111,000 of cash value. You will have no third-party debt. You will have two vehicles that are kind of assets at this point, right? They're paid for. You have the slips. You own them outright. You can trade them in, sell them, do whatever with them. I mean, yes, they're depreciating, but they're yours, not someone else's. And you're going to have $1 million in tax-free death benefit. Welcome back. Another episode. We're blessed to be back here with you again today. Spending your inheritance, that's the most common mistake. You know, whether it's inheritance or a windfall, most people treat their inheritance like it's a sudden blessing. They don't quite know what to do with it. There's all these things they want to buy. And here's the truth. Receiving money is not the finish line. It's actually the starting point of stewardship. You were left that money for a reason. And today we're going to talk about how you can be uncommon with inheritance by following the 7 laws of wealth and Nelson Nash's principles that we talk about all the time here. And yes, even the biblical parable of the talents. So let's kind of dive in. And Jeremy, welcome, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I like this one because if folks want to know like how we get our show ideas, this actually comes from a real life person that Jason was working with, right? So you guys out there in the audience and the folks that we work with on a daily basis inspire a lot of our shows. So I want to say thank you to this individual who's been working with Jason that actually allows us to take her story and extend it to all of you as a learning opportunity.
And that's such a powerful thank you, Jeremy, for bringing light to that. Because I think the majority of what we talk about, because all we're doing is we're solving problems for people. And a lot of times it starts with a short-term problem, but the difference, you know, like Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about, we as humans haven't evolved to think long-term yet. And so one of the paradigm shifts, one of the alignment pieces that we're helping people with is how do we not only think about what's happening right now in our financial universe, in our personal economy, but how do we tie that out to a decade out, to multiple generations away from today? And this is one of those things. Like someone, when you left an inheritance or you have a windfall, you know, if you don't have good financial acumen or principles or habits in place, guess what's going to happen? The money's going to come in, it's going to go out, and you're probably going to be left with maybe less than you had to begin with because of the short-term thinking.
Well, you see that all the time with professional athletes, right? Or people who win the lotto. You have to have a plan in place.
Yeah, and this particular one that we were inspired by, and this is actually something you and I are working on together, where, you know, I've been coming to you for advice, and we do that a lot. We bounce ideas off of each other, which is one of the things I really appreciate about our friendship, our brotherhood, and being on this path with you is I'm like, hey, man, like, am I missing something? Because when this individual came to me, now just for context, she's a real estate agent. She's fairly young, in 40s, super busy, homeschooling, work as an agent, husband's working as well, really cool family. And she received an inheritance from her uncle. And, you know, it was significant to them. It was about $60,000. And the uncle left it to her instead of his kids, right? Because she's the most responsible. And the one thing that she's really struggling with in the moment is, hey, I know he blessed me with the money, but I feel like we should divide it right now so it feels fair. And just that thought alone, like, hey, we should just take the 60 grand, divide it between the 5 of us, and then that's fair. That would be a little bit for everyone. Everyone, you know, can use it for whatever they want. And our conversation, Jeremy, kind of evolved into, well, what are the things that have cash flow leaving your family right now? And if your uncle wants you to be a good steward, what would it look like if you actually put a plan in place where you have all the advantages of this specially engineered whole life policy? And how could you actually have infinite returns on that to be able to provide for the siblings for a longer period of time with a little bit of patience and long-term thinking?
Yeah, I mean, to the point, if he wanted $10,000 plus to go to every single person, that's what he should have directed, right? Hey, go out there, have a great vacation. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, I'm gone. Or to your
Mm.
point, let's create generational wealth. Let's try and to establish a system that's going to continue to pay dividends over time that is has these massive tax benefits. To her, she should be putting it to work, right? We talk about the create, keep, and multiply. This is the opportunity where the keep and multiply is really falling on her shoulders. And I got it. Not everyone signs up for that. But if you are chosen to do that, someone believes in
Mm.
you. And you may not believe in yourself at that point, but if the money is given to you, then you need to be a good steward to other people. And kind of, I think about it with my family, right? Not everyone in my family has good financial acumen. So where would it, if I were in her place, like I would probably also be the one that would be receiving the money with the intention of multiplying it for the other family members and for their generation and their second and third and fourth order generations, right? Like that's the responsibility that you have by being a good steward of capital.
And then thank you for sharing that story and kind of it makes it so relatable, right? And this is very much like when I was going through this example, I thought about the parable of the talents. Jesus told the story of a master who entrusted the three servants with his wealth. One with 5 talents, one with two, and one with one. The first two doubled what they were given, right? Five became 10, two became four, and the last one just buried his out of fear and returned only what he was given. And the master praised the first two, calling them faithful, but the last one, he said, "You wicked and lazy servant." And the lesson's pretty clear. Money entrusted to us isn't meant to be buried or spent down. It's meant to be multiplied. And that's the uncommon response. But this individual was given this responsibility because her uncle trusted her.
Yeah. It's not just for her, right? It's for the generations. It's her job to grow it, to expand it, to multiply it. So that way she can give more later. It's one thing to give people 10 grand, but what if she turned around and took that 60 and turned it into 120? What about that 120 to 240? What about that 240 to 480, right? You just got to knock over the first domino and allow the rest of the system to take place.
And to your earlier point, if the uncle had wanted all the siblings to have the 10 grand to go out and just spend it, to have a nice vacation, to buy a new toy, then that's how it would have been divvied up. But no, it wasn't given that way. So when we look at it in a practical, like we're kind of talking about the bigger idea of stewardship and being uncommon with inheritance and what it means to multiply the money, to be that good steward, to create a perpetual source of blessing, if you will. So let's look at her scenario, Jeremy. Let's just kind of talk through it. So she receives the inheritance. And when we talked about what was going on, they have pretty good financial habits. There's not a lot of debt. There's not like tons of credit cards. And the two main ones they had were their vehicles, right? To Ford, to Dodge. They're paying out a little over 860 some dollars a month to Ford and Dodge. And if they do what's common, what most people are doing, not you listeners, you guys are smart, right? You're in a very small percentage already listening and learning and applying what we're teaching you. But if she just kept doing, if her and her husband kept doing what they were doing with the money, they would have almost that $900 a month leaving their family for the next 77 months. That's what they signed up for. That's what most people sign up for when they finance a vehicle or a home or anything major. Okay. And now who's earning the money? Who's earning the interest? The bank.
Ford, Dodge.
Yeah. The banks, the other families. Think about it
Mhm.
that way. The other families. And at the end of 77 months, there's no wealth creation. There's no stewardship. There's no protection. What if instead we fund one of these specially engineered whole lives? And that's what we put together. We put together one where she is doing something that is manageable. We always talk about having a manageable floor and a meaningful ceiling. So manageable for their family was about $10,000 a year or 833 a month. That was manageable. And they can go up to that's 10,000 a year, and they can go as low, I believe, as about 4,000 a year in this, right? So that's their manageable floor to kind of give a little bit more context. And they're overfunding it, meaning putting a one-time infusion in it, if you will, to where they're going to have higher cash value and immediately. And when we say immediate, Jeremy, what do we mean? How fast?
First 30 days.
First 30 days, right? And wealth building is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And so now Jessica wants to give her money three jobs. She wants to save it, right? She wants to be able to spend it to take back control from Ford and Dodge, and she wants to protect it simultaneously. So now, in the first 30 days, pays off one of the loans, and within 10 months, both vehicles are paid off, and all of that money is being paid back to the system.
What's the product though? So the product that she's using to implement the system, Jason, what is the protection piece? What was the value there for the legacy, the
Oh, that
tax-free legacy value?
yeah, no, it's a great question. And so we're gonna play a little game with our that's a great what's it called, like a tease? Because
Segue?
yeah, did you not know we're playing a little game here? Did you miss that part today?
Man, I'm always missing the little things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of mix it up with each other. So we're gonna play a little game. If you're playing along, you can do this in your head. If you're at home, you got a notebook, grab the notebook. Jeremy, you're gonna help lead this game with me. So we're
I
gonna
don't like the games because I keep losing your games, Jason. You're rigging them. I feel like I'm at a carnival here.
But my games are simple. It's simple as simple. That's what I always promise, brother. So how is that possible? So we have a game. You are like, strong listeners out there. You're like Hercules if you're a man. You're at the crossroads. You've got two paths to pick. You're either going to go to path A, which is the uncommon path, maybe the less celebrated path, the path that's going to take a little longer, and it's not going to be that instant gratification. Path B is just doing the common thing, right? Just using the money for whatever. There is you maybe short-term satisfaction or some burst of dopamine or whatever you get from using that money. And that's the two paths. So I already kind of gave you some of the context, but remember what we talked about being an honest banker earlier, Jeremy, right? We talked about how
Yep.
you have to pay back your system.
Yeah, that was last week's episode.
Yeah. So we talked about what it looks like to have a plan to pay back and be an honest banker. And then we always talk about the flow of money, right? We're talking about how with infinite banking, the money goes into your bank, name your bank, and then it goes into your segregated account, which is a separate account. And then it goes to either into the investment, or in this case, it's gonna pay off the loans to Dodge and Ford. And now that money that used to go this way, what happens? Like, what do you do with the extra 890 a month? Do you spend it, Jeremy?
Most people will. I would say like the vast majority of people will.
Which is the common way, right? But
Yeah, the
instead of
common way.
but instead of spending the money, what do we instruct our bankers to do? You what? You put it back into the segregated account, which then goes back into your policy.
Yeah, pay yourself first.
Yes, it's paying yourself first. It's recapturing and recycling that money. And so remember, path A, the uncommon path, the same time period after 77 months, Jeremy, and this is going to answer your question. If you choose path A, you will have $111,000 of cash value. You will have no third party debt. You will have two vehicles that are kind of assets at this point, right? They're paid for. You have the slips. You own them outright. You can trade them in, sell them, do whatever with them. I mean, yes, they're depreciating, but they're yours, not someone else's. And you're going to have $1 million in tax-free death benefit. That's
Okay.
path A.
All right.
All right.
What's path B?
Path B is you went and spent 10 grand, you put it all in red, you got black, you didn't make any more money, and it's gone forever. Or you took the whole amount and it's gone forever. And you kept paying the Bank of Ford, the Bank of Dodge. And at the end of that time, you've paid about $7,000 of interest to those banks. It's taking you 77 months to pay them off. Now you have the vehicles that have depreciated. So that's equal to path A, but you have no tax-free cash value and you have no protection.
All right. So let me recap it. All right. Path A, I have the two vehicles that are completely paid off. I
Yes.
have over $100,000 of cash value, and I have
Yes.
over $1 million of legacy value in the form of death benefit. And
Yes.
then in path B, I also have the two vehicles paid off, but I paid over 6 grand in interest to Ford and Dodge,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have any cash value, and I have zero legacy value, no death benefit. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
So you said we were playing a game, but it seems as though this is a to the clear person, the clear of mind, like there it's really just I guess the rules are pick which path is better for me. Is that the rule of the game here?
Yeah, well, you said you wanted an easy game that you could win, didn't you?
Yeah, I
I was
mean,
trying to set you up for success, but you kind of come in wary, you came in fearful, you came in scared, brother. You came in not wanting to lose anymore because you're so competitive. But like, could it
yeah,
be an
path
easier
A.
game?
Like path A. Path A
Path
all
A.
day.
All right.
Path A
Let's hear it
all
for
day.
Jeremy. Path A, he says. What do you guys say? What path are you taking?
So
And
why do you think that most people don't take path A? Because to me, clear as day, that's a very simple and easy path. So why not take path A? Let's discuss that a little bit. Why would someone choose path B? Because the vast majority of people will choose path B. They'll choose to pay the interest to Ford, to pay the interest to Dodge in the attempt to get back what you had on path A. You still got the vehicles paid off, but there was an opportunity cost associated with it, right? When you chose path B, part of that opportunity cost was paying interest to someone else.
hmm,
And you gave up the ability to earn interest on your money and you lost the legacy value. But more often than not, Jason, people do choose path B. So why?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and go a little deeper here. I believe because the common path, right? The path of many, that when you're giving that money to Ford and Dodge, it's known. You know what's going to happen at the end of the time. You're already doing it. There is no possibility that you might mess it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no possibility. It's easy. It's like the big red Staples easy button. You think, hey, this is too easy. And there's also there might be the imposter piece of it. Like you might have imposter syndrome saying, who am I to have a banking system? Who am I to take the money and actually multiply? I don't know how to do that. And I think there's a piece of that too, because now when you have $111,000, that's almost twice as much as what was left for the inheritance, correct? Right? Like
Yeah.
you do
Yep.
the math the same as I do, like that's almost two times.
Mm-hmm.
And now what would you use if you were in this client's shoes, Jeremy? Now you have the opportunity to put that money to work and go find small money movements. And maybe if you're making 12% on that money, you're making 1,100 bucks a month. And now you can split that up on a monthly basis to each of the siblings, and they can have that money for going out, for saving it, for whatever they want to do, for as long as that investment goes. And you still get all the principal back. It goes back in your system. It keeps growing. It's uninterrupted. It's compounding. But I think the fear of the unknown, just to make it simple, I think it's the fear of the unknown or the maybe thinking, well, this is not for me because I don't really fully understand it.
I think it's that when you move with the masses, you don't see the path. Honestly, right? If you're moving collectively, think about
Moving with the
me.
masses. I like that.
Yeah, when you move with the masses and you're with the crowd, you don't see the path below your feet, and you may not know that there's actually the path is diverging to the path that we talked about, path A, right? Unless there's a sign, a massive blinking neon sign saying this is the way, you may miss it entirely, and you'll just continue to move with the masses and never see the path, the alternate path that's out there.
This is the way I have spoken. Wouldn't it be great if it was that easy, if there was a big blinking sign that showed you like this fun little game? Is it path A or path B? The decision's always in your hands, folks. I mean, you guys are always blessing us by sharing your problems and what you're trying to solve in your life. And all we're saying is we want you to have control. We want you to have guarantees. And you ask us what could possibly go wrong? Jeremy, you know what my answer always is?
What is it?
Great question, Jeremy. It is go look in the mirror. Just take a deep look. Like that is the only thing that might go wrong because we're talking about systems and we're talking about organizations, right? These large mutuals that have been profitable for well over 100 years for everything that's happened in history. So the only way it might not work is if you just get off the path and keep going on what you call it, the moving with the masses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's what we're talking about is definitely not the norm. Because if it was the norm, we wouldn't need the need for the podcast here, right? Like there'd be no reason for you to be listening in today. I would love for this to be the norm. I'd love for this to be where the masses are, but we are the blinking sign. We're the ones telling you that there is a different path. And if you want to learn about that path, if you want a guide to walk you on that path, book the call. Go to wealthwisebanking.com, book with me, book with Jason. We've traveled down this path pretty deep, pretty far. And we've taken a lot of different people away from the path of the many, the masses that are
Mhm.
still end up in financial chains and ruins and ending up in retirement with no money to show for it, right? Still working in the autumn and winter years of their life when they should be thinking about spending time with their grandchildren, enjoying the fruits of their labor, enjoying that sunset beach and your little martini, right? Instead, you're working time and again, sometimes two, three jobs. Like my grandmother, still hard at work. My mother, still hard at work with two jobs
Mm.
because they followed the masses and they did exactly what the banks told them to do. They did exactly what their financial advisors told them to do. Think about that.
And you feel how personal that is and how much that means to you. And again, bringing it all the way around. An inheritance is not just money. It's trust. It's
Mm-hmm.
trust that and faith that somebody put that in you. Someone believed in you enough to leave you the responsibility of multiplying their life's work. So don't settle for the common path. Don't go with the masses and spend it down. Be uncommon. Follow the laws of wealth. Protect it. Multiply it. Nurture it. Create a blessing that's going to outlive you.
Yeah, I
Jeremy and
love
I,
that.
we have a lot of, Jeremy is always on the go, traveling. We're having tons of these conversations, thousands of conversations. So our time is a little bit limited on how many people we can talk to. But if this resonates with you, book that call. What do you have to lose to follow the big blinking sign and get off the common path to do something that's going to bless generations to come?
Yeah. To put it simply, the wealthy are wealthy for a reason because they followed a path that's not common. They're doing what the masses aren't doing. And this is one of those rules. This is one of those laws of wealth. And if you just simply do what the wealthy are doing, you yourself would be wealthy, but it always takes one. It takes generation one. It takes someone to break the chain. And you got to determine, is that going to be you or are you going to kick that down to the next generation? So make the choice. The choice is yours.
The choice is yours, and we're blessed as always to have your attention, your time, your focus. And as you know, you're already in banking.
You're just not the banker yet.
So be blessed. We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care.
Thanks for joining us on WealthWise Banking. If today's episode inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and give us a like. It's a simple way to help others discover these empowering strategies and join our community. Together, we're building a network of people who believe financial freedom is within everyone's reach. Remember, financial independence is about making every dollar work for you, one step at a time. Until next time, stay inspired, stay in control, and keep building your legacy the wise way.